Hi, I'm Skilla and this is Nerd Stuff with Skilla. Happy Halloween. Today I want to talk about episode 9 of American Horror Story Cult called Drink the Kool-Aid. There will be spoilers ahead for all things American Horror Story Cult up through this penultimate episode. If you have not gotten caught up, please do not watch this video. Thank you. We get a rundown from Kai of 3 different cult leaders, which are David Koresh, Marshall Applewhite, Jim Jones, and he plays all 3 of them, I believe, in the little flashback sequences. Now he's having like a slumber party with all of his soldiers, and he's telling them all about them just to remind them of what great leaders inspire in their followers. So he wants them to be so committed to him that they are willing to sacrifice their lives. Now that Ellie is in the cult, she can finally question Ivy on what drove her to try to make her go crazy and do things that result in other people's death. Ivy says that Allie was going crazy and that the butchery was a lot more work than she intended it to be, and she was just kind of spiraling, which is actually a real way that cults get people involved. They try to find people who are vulnerable and give them some sort of support net that they feel they can't live without. That is something that cults really do. So that was interesting. Good choice. Kai is at the city council. He announces that he is going to run for Senate next year. Clearly one of these other council members is going to die. Kai passes a ban on certain websites, a call to the net neutrality situation that we had in America here last year, I believe. It might have been early this year. But it's a way of censorship to try and protect people. He now has all of his blue shirt white dudes calling him Divine Ruler, which is very culty. Back to Allie and Ivy, Winter shows up with Oz. Allie pretty much says that she did whatever she had to do in order to get Oz back. She didn't want to leave the other mom in their situation in a cult, because that's also not good for Oz, especially if we're going to go to a Kool-Aid drinking situation. Allie confronts Winter, and Winter's like, I lost control after the election. I didn't know what to believe in. The only thing I knew what to believe in was family. And all that went out the window when Kai killed Vince, her older brother. So they are all trying to plot to leave the cult when a pus bucket comes a-pounding at the door and he says, emergency meeting at Divine Ruler's house. Beverly is unleashed on the rest of the ladies and attacks Winter, and they have a little brawl, and then Kai brings out some Kool-Aid and makes everybody drink it. Gary, he shoots one person who isn't willing to drink it, and the person behind him gets shot as well. And then everybody drinks it, and Kai's like, there was nothing on the Kool-Aid, which is kind of odd. I mean, I knew that none of them were going to actually die because that would be a really odd choice at this point, but it was just kind of a weird path for us to go down, I suppose. Beverly seems broke at the end of this segment, and Kai is like a monster right now. He says that they're all banded together with their loyalty towards each other. Allie and Ivy decide to run away without Winter because she's a homewrecker. They go to Oz's school to try and pick him up, only to find that Winter have taken him from school half an hour early before they could get there. They get to the house and they go downstairs and they realize Kai is about to make him drink some Kool-Aid. And Allie runs in and smacks it out of his hand. Kai reveals that he is Oz's father, as a lot of people have speculated. Convinces them they need to leave Oz there so that he doesn't have both of them shot in front of their child. So they leave. Oz is calling Kai daddy through this whole scene, which I thought was kind of an odd choice. For him to like switch directly to calling Kai daddy right out the gate was, I think, kind of a bizarre choice. I think it was meant to be kind of shocking, but I don't know that Oz, being the character that he is, would have immediately switched to calling him daddy. That doesn't really seem like something Oz would do. Allie makes Ivy some pasta and pours some wine and poisons that bitch. She straight up kills Ivy, and I was like, yes, girl, come on and get it. She deserves it. At least somebody is going to die who really has earned it now. And she chokes up blood, and she put arsenic in all of her stuff, and like, it was awesome. It was good. Happy that that happened. I'm done with Ivy. Goodbye, Ivy. I don't like you. I liked you for a long time. Don't like you anymore. Glad you're dead. Good. Kai starts telling the followers that when Jim Jones mass suicided with his entire congregation, that they didn't actually die, like they came back in a new body or something like that. and they're all like, oh, well, that's beautiful. But Oz is sitting there Googling it, and he's like, well, Wikipedia says all of them are dead, and they're still trying to bury some of the bodies. So he gets taken to time out, and we don't really know what that consists of, but it couldn't have been too bad, since the next time we see Oz, he's just kind of sitting there smiling. Kai broke Oz's phone. He called Wikipedia fake news. Allie shows up at Kai's house the next morning to pick up Oz, and she finds out that Kai and Oz have both left. She leaves a message telling Kai that he needs to come over for some sandwiches for dinner. Before Kai comes over, she goes to the hospital where she was artificially inseminated at and finds out that Kai is not Oz's father. She takes that file and switches the picture in it for Kai's picture, and then when Kai comes over for manwiches, she informs him that she's killed Ivy, slides the folder over to him, and now Allie believes that they have a Messiah baby together, just what he's always wanted. They take Ivy's body and drop her in the dead family room, where we see that Vincent has been laid to rest between their parents, and they just drop Ivy in the floor because she's not family. I thought this episode was pretty cool. We're gonna see the character BB again. Sure, we'll see some more Beverly. I don't think Beverly's going to make it to the end. I think that Allie will make it to the end, and I think that Kai looked like he's going to cut off all of his hair, which is a pretty standard psychopath move at some point, especially since, as I've been saying from the beginning, we see a lot of symbolism having to do with hair. So I'm really excited about this. I'm glad that Oz isn't actually Kai's son, and I think it's interesting that they chose to do what they did in that whole plot line. I thought that was interesting. I thought it was good. I've kind of talked about it in comments. I don't remember if I've actually done any commentary in videos about it, but Oz's real name is Ozymandias, which they've called him, I think, 4 or 5 times throughout the whole series. Now, originally I thought this might have been a reference to the Watchmen comics, because that is a character, the main antagonist in the series. But then I kind of started thinking about the poem that he was named after, which is about Ramses II, King of Kings. It's about a lot of different things. And I definitely recommend you go and read that if you want to think about why they would name Oz Ozymandias, because I think it's important. I think that is something that Kai probably really appreciates. So even though he kind of makes fun of it in this episode, he knows now that it means King of Kings. That is really appealing to him, because Oz is a Messiah baby to him. So I just thought that was an interesting snippet. If you want to go and read the original poem, it is public domain. It's written by Percy Shelley. Mary Shelley, author of Frankenstein's husband, wrote the poem. If you would like to have a discussion about that, I would love to have a discussion about that. Just comment down below and we'll talk about it. The final line of this episode is, now we can all be a real family. We're going to see how everything turns out. I think Allie is about to bust some heads together. And I think this episode was some of the best performances that we've seen from Sarah Paulson in this whole season. I really like that she is not crying every single episode. She is empowered now. She is ready to just break all the balls she needs to break to get to where she needs to be. And I think that is awesome and exciting, and I can't wait for the finale next week. Please come back and listen to what I got to say about it when that happens. Give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Comment down below with what you think is going to happen in the finale of American Horror Story Cult. And subscribe if you want to hear about more nerdy stuff from me. And as always, thank you so much for watching.